Hey everybody, I hope y'all are having an amazing day today. My name is Mercer and welcome back to another one of my top 10 wanted death battles. Since my last list got a very fair number of views and a very fair number of likes to dislikes, I wanted to make another part 2 to this video, especially since I used 3 My Hero Academia characters on that last list and didn't do much very scaling. Considering how popular scaling has been lately in versus debating, I want to make sure I include that in this list. But before we get into this, let's review a couple ground rules. For one, no Marvel vs. DC fights. I don't care what characters they are, I'm really just not going to risk it. Another rule is that no same series fights. I was about to do Krillin vs. Tien vs. Yamcha, no matter how much I liked it, but still, I don't feel like doing it. And another rule is that there will be one rematch and 2 repeats from my last list. Since I like them both, I just didn't want to overshadow them. With that out of the way, everything else is new. So, lo and behold, welcome to Character Wars Top 10 Wanted Death Battles Part 2. Well, hope you enjoy. Number 10. Bendy and the Ink Machine has had a very mixed representation lately. And whether you enjoy the game or not, or think it belongs in versus debating, that's entirely your preference. But I personally think that the Ink Demon from Bendy should fight Cuphead. I know it's weird and downright random to put him up against Cuphead, but other opponents for him like Slenderman or Freddy just don't seem to fit Bendy beyond the horror aesthetic. And as for Cuphead, characters like Crash Bandicoot don't have much in common besides a really hard game that people compare to Dark Souls. And yes, this is very unique to me, and I hope they put it in because of its unique aesthetic and how good the DBX was. But with that out of the way, let's take a look at stats and scaling. Bendy has had a number of cartoons. We cannot doubt that, but he also has his ink body, to which he believed got from Joey Drew. Or is he Joey Drew? Well, I'm not going to get into that now, but the ink body allows him to use superhuman levels of strength and infection as well as durability. He also has his other form, Dark Beast Bendy, I think Beast Bendy, yeah, which allows him to use claws, teeth, and superhuman levels of strength. Pardon the Overwatch thing, it's a foreshadow for my next thing. As for Cuphead, he has a number of long-range stats. He's very fast, able to dodge through cannons and even lightning, but he doesn't have much strength feats. He normally requires to use extra backup through shots, as he's much more of a long-range fighter. He can use spread, homing shots, coffee, smoke bombs, grenades, boomerangs, normal shots, extra hearts, and a number of different special items. In his fight with Mermaid, I forgot her name, she shot him with a laser, to which he could successfully avoid if you timed it on time, putting his reactions around close to lightning speed, or even light speed, to be honest. And while Bendy definitely has the edge in durability, as Cuphead only has 3 hearts, Bendy can survive Joey Drew Studios' collapsing, to which I think is actually confirmed. But with that and more, I do think that Cuphead would actually take the cake on this fight. Well, yes, Cuphead does have a number of different long-range abilities he can choose from. Bendy is not very good aside from being up close, and Cuphead has everything he needs to put him at a distance, as well as having lightning-based speed reactions, to which is just really, really good. But with that out of the way, let's get to our number 9. Number 9. Star Wars hasn't had much representation on Death Battle beyond lightsabers or Jedi, with the exception being Boba Fett. But today, I decided I'd bring in a clone. And which clone? Well, how about the most famous one, Captain Rex. Captain Rex, leading some of the greatest clone wars in the Clone Wars, has had a number of different opponents. But like I said to foreshadow for Overwatch, I think he should fight Soldier 76. To which I really like the idea, as they're both fallen soldiers who want to forget about their past mistakes and their past fallen teams normally do from corrupt insides. As for Soldier 76, he has a powerful rifle, can shoot out a number of different energy shots, helix rockets, which are 3 and into 1 shot. He has healing kind of shots, and he can use his tactical visor to lock onto opponents with ease. He has a number of feats, including the grenade feat, which he can outrun and react to it, as well as being able to take on at least 10 thugs with his bare hands with ease. This required him to react to their movements just in time, and his shots can be so powerful they can put down heavies like Reinhardt and even Roadhog with a number of time. Captain Rex has had a number of fair share experience in his days and has a number of special equipment. He has enhanced physical stats, 2 dual shots, a jetpack, a number of special marksman training, and has a number of different abilities, including his long-range, more advanced rifle instead of his more close-range 2 shots. Captain Rex has a number of different physical training powers that he could use against Soldier 76, as well as fighting superior battle droids and taking them on with ease, while other clones have failed to do this. And since he's fought Clone Wars instead of basic wars like Soldier 76 has, I feel like it should give him the win the majority of the time. But yeah, let's look on to our number 8 position. If it'll go, one sec. Number 8. Pokemon has always deserved its representation on Death Battle, and quite frankly, I'm going to bring in one of the more famous Pokemon, as yes, they do have a number of different Pokemon, and with the release of Sword and Shield, I could go into more, but I just wanted to bring in a classic, that being Greninja. Greninja has had a number of different opponents you can choose from, but I think he should fight SBO from Sonic. I made this as a character war, and if you saw that, you know exactly why I love this matchup so much. But let's look at some other opponents before we do that. Characters like Greninja versus, I think his name is Rano from Rivals of Ether, are cool, but it's much more poison water type instead of poison dark. It just doesn't make sense. And Leonardo has already had his fair share of representation on Death Battle, so I don't want to get into that. I like Greninja versus SBO as it's 2 anthropomorphic ninjas from 2 iconic games. And quite frankly, it is very cool and much harder than people would expect. So let's take a look at physical stats. Greninja is remarkably fast and has great strength and speed. His defense is not as high as those other 2 factors, but being able to keep up with some of the more powerful Pokemon, and even Pokemon with type advantages, does give him an edge. He can rival the strength of even powerful Pokemon like Sceptile, and with moves like Water Shuriken, Aerial Ace, and Dark Pulse, he has a wide variety of moves he can choose from to attack. Especially when we look at his win-loss record, he has a number of different abilities, and while we could give him the Ash Greninja power-up, it is inherited through trainers, and, well, we don't really give that to most Pokemon, unless we're taking a look at Ash's actual Greninja, to which that one had a number of physical stats, but since that's compared to other Greninjas, all feats shown there, aside out of Ash Greninja, could qualify for Greninjas. SBO can turn invisible, and has a number of different crazy martial arts feats. He can use his tail of sorts and his invisibility, as well as being part of the Chaotix detective group as he scales to them mentally and with martial arts skill. This puts him at a crazy powerful and cool level. And while yes, he is a Sonic character, so he can perform the Spin Dash, he does not move at Sonic's normal speed, just the casual speed, around 60,000 miles per hour. But Greninja does outclass that, as he has moved as fast as Aerial Ace and faster than the eye can see, as well as keeping up with Pokemon who can move over 90,000 miles per hour. So Greninja can not only keep up with that speed, but can even surpass it, which I feel like gives him the win, as he has more versatility, proper skill, and can keep up with SBO's superior speed, no matter, and even beat the superior speed. Ooh, that was a lot to say. But now let's take a look at some more soldier-based ones in number 7. Team Fortress 2 has always deserved its shot on Death Battle, no matter how many times it does not get it. But which one of the Mercs or Saxton Hale could I choose from today? Well, I was thinking about bringing in Soldier. He's not very treated the same way as the other Mercs, to which that is famous, but he does have a number of special opponents, one of them being Sarge from Red vs. Blue. And I think that's the one I'm going to go with today. As for other opponents, Soldier vs. Pharah just seems like a cop-out in trying to make another Overwatch vs. TF2 fight. And while Soldier vs. Soldier 76 seems cool, I just don't like any more Overwatch vs. TF2 fights beyond Tracer vs. Scout or Zarya vs. Heavy. I like this fight because it brings more representation to the red versus blue, and we can use the new modifications in red versus blue 0. Soldier has his rocket launcher and a number of other weapons, including his classic shovel, shotguns, and more advanced weapons, using the Steel Battalion. He can use that with shotguns, and can use a number of different ones, all of which he incorporates in his fighting style. Sarge has a shotgun on his own, and can move fast enough to catch and intercept weapons dropped by opponents in mid-air. He can go toe-to-toe with Texas, who fought the meta, and can go toe-to-toe with the meta himself. And Texas is an extremely powerful Spartan, and Sarge can go toe-to-toe with him as well as being one of the more powerful members of Team Red. The Demo Man's grenade feat, where he ran explosions, was impressive, but Sarge can not only move faster than that, but surpass that kind of speed, putting his speed much greater and his strength as well as being greater than Soldier, as nothing thrown by Agent Texas really compares to what TF2 can do. Whew, that was saying a lot. Let's move on to number 6, which is more complicated. Great. Number 6. One Punch Man has had only 2 representations on Death Battle, 2 of them being the characters Tatsumaki and Genos, and while Genos sadly lost, spoilers, Tatsumaki pulled out a victory. But I'm going to tackle Saitama today. But who should he fight? Well, I know there's a number of different opponents, but there's only really one that works, and that's Koro-sensei from Assassination Classroom. While characters like Goku or Superman are cool, I want a more serious fight instead of just being a silly fight. And characters like Koro-sensei fit him perfectly, as it's both unmovable and almost unbreakable objects from 2 just funny series. And Koro-sensei was great, so is the Assassination Classroom series. As for Saitama, his physical stats are vastly increased through his daily training regimen and his downright power. He can use moves like Serious Punch, which are technically planetary to even star levels of power, proven by his fight with Boros, who did use a star level attack and Saitama outclassed it. And he can take out people who can destroy mountains with ease, including using the Serious Sideway jumps to create optical illusions, which can move faster than speed of sound Sonic. Saitama also has the Moon feat, to when he was sit up in the moon and move back in a matter of seconds. And yes, Koro-sensei does outclass this using durability. It does not change the fact that Saitama can move much faster than Koro-sensei's mere Mach 20 levels of speed. This is true, and I can go on and on for days about how fast and who's faster, but it was really a matter if Saitama can get past Koro-sensei's durability, as only BBs can kill him. And, quite frankly, he can. When he has that much star levels of power in the Serious Punch and even in normal punches, there's no way that Saitama can't get past Koro-sensei. So I feel like the majority of the time Saitama should pull out a fair win, no matter how powerful the tentacles are that Koro-sensei has. Oh, that was another one that cost me a lot of words. Number 5. Welp, here goes nothing. You guys were promised the rematch, and here it is. If you saw that, then you know it's a Halo character. And if you know it's a Halo character, you know who's coming up. Master Chief. And he's fighting Doom Guy. Or Doomslayer, I don't know. However you would like to pronounce it. Point being, this needs to happen again. It's vital to happen again. Maybe not as much as Cloud vs. Link, but Master Chief has a number of different moves he can choose from. The same arsenals that he'd had in the last episode still technically qualify, and a number of different other ones, like the famous Energy Sword, and has a number of different rocket launchers he can choose from as well, including grenades. And, of course, the shield. As for Doom Guy, he's had modifications to his suit, increasing in armor and creating mock buzzsaws, and got a new sword in Doom Eternal, one that's very helpful against the Bane of Hell's armies. He also has the same levels of long-range equipment and can take down some of Hell's armies with his bare hands, even going toe-to-toe with some of the more powerful members, even the leaders of Hell. But let's take a look at physical stats. Doomslayer's sword is probably much more powerful than Master Chief's Energy Sword, as it's much more vital and powerful up against opponents. And he's much stronger, as he can take down berserkers with one hand, and can go toe-to-toe with even 3 of characters in Doom. While Master Chief does have his running 65 miles per hour speed and his falling from orbit feat, it's still not good enough compared to the levels of Doomslayer's more powerful and versatile strength and speed, as well as durability. So yeah, Doomslayer should take out a win in this fight. Ooh, that was a lot. Let's move on to our number 4. Number 4. Here we are again with a Dragon Ball fight, and this one I hope actually happens, as it seems like the best fight for both characters. But yeah, I'm not tackling Goku, I'm tackling none other than the big golden boy himself, Frieza. But who should he fight? He's got a number of opponents, but I think his best one, personally, is going to be... what's a good one? Well, I have come to the conclusion that Megatron from Transformers is the best option for Frieza. And while you may disagree with me, that's okay, because I can give you a number of reasons why this is a good fight. Mewtwo dies against Frieza, it's not much competition, and both characters like Brainiac or General Zod just feel like cop-outs in trying to make another attempt at Goku versus Superman. It's just not that as good as Megatron versus Frieza. As for who wins, it does have a number of interesting and cool debate topics. For one, Frieza has a number of different forms he can choose from, whether it be his first, second, bulked up, or final, which is normally his base form in general, and his most iconic. He also has the new golden form used in Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F, to which is quite powerful and can even go toe-to-toe with Super Saiyan Blue, which, by the way, is much higher than planet and even galaxy level of power. So, by using the golden mode, Frieza could have an advantage as he moves much, much faster than light, and even can go to the same levels of speed as Super Saiyan God Goku. This is remarkable as it also helped him fight a number of different opponents. Megatron's stats are pretty normal compared to other Transformers, but he doesn't scale to them, he scales to Optimus Prime. And with transformations like a plane, a gun, even though he already has one, and his iconic tank transformation, Megatron is very versatile and much tankier. He has reaction speeds much faster than light, that's pretty fair, and with the Ultra Megatron form, he can enhance all physical stats. Though it is clear that he does keep up with Prime on a day-to-day basis, and Prime has some crazy feats too. But not as crazy as Super Saiyan Blue. So I would technically give Frieza the edge in speed and even power on its own right, which I feel like are two main factors in this fight. Especially since, well, Golden Frieza has a number of different abilities he can choose from, and that puts him at crazy levels of power. So yeah, I think the majority of the time, Frieza should pull out a win. I know it seems unfair, technically, but this is Megatron's best fight overall, and Frieza's as well. So, that was a lot. Let's go into our number 3. Waluigi always deserves a shot in recognition, and he just doesn't get one that much. But who should he fight? He has a number of different opponents he can choose from, despite being not very famous, but I think Papyrus from Undertale is the best option. While characters like Robbie Rotten seem cool for Waluigi, Papyrus just fits the comedic aesthetic the best, and it's not even a joke fight. Waluigi's arsenal allows him to have superhuman levels of strength and speed at the same level of Wario and Sonic. He can use a whip and multiply the whip's power to increase physical stats, and of course has a number of water bending of sorts techniques even, which came as a surprise to me when I first heard about it. Waluigi also uses a stomp technique, but here with Papyrus he uses more advanced fighting, as the fighting in Undertale is just downright powerful. He can block with bone walls, and he can use different moves like including different bone attacks. I know sometimes these bone attacks aren't as powerful as Sans, but they are still quite powerful. And in the genocide mode, they can increase to even beyond normal levels by creating bone walls or bone structures, and using blue bones to slow down and create a more pulled back and just laid back heart, he can increase and do go beyond in his attacks. Papyrus also has a number of unique abilities, including his downright cool and just fun behavior. Waluigi does outclass him in physical stats, as if you recall the stadium tennis court feat that Waluigi was in, that Mario and Wario went in, Waluigi was also in. And Papyrus does technically scale the sands in terms of just bone power, but he doesn't scale to his level of power, if you get what I mean. So yeah, since Waluigi is a much more offensive and downright physically better fighter, he should pull out a win more times than not. Which is good, as he does not get much recognition beyond, well, anything. He's not in Smash, and he's not in Mario Kart a lot. So that's good. Let's move on to some bigger fights. Here we are with another one. I know. But let's take a look at number 2. My number 2 pick has had some controversy over the years. And I know it is meh, but still. What matters most is that Joker and versus, well, you'll see, needs to happen. And let me give you a proper explanation on who I think the winner is going to be and why he wins. So, who should Joker fight from Persona 5? Giorno, obviously. That's literally no question. And yes, I've had a number of comments asking me and a number of friends asking me, what if Giorno just uses different abilities, including his stand, Gold Requiem Experience? Well, Giorno can use that, and this stand is physically better than most of Joker's personas. But what we do have here just really stands out to me. So, no pun intended, sorry. Giorno's stand has a number of projectile attacks and can use this ability where he specifically can torture his opponent. And he can technically bring Giorno back to life if he's ever damaged. This is helpful and is physically very powerful. Let's take a look at Joker's personas. And comparing them to Giorno's stand, Gold Requiem Experience, it just does not seem that the personas are on the same level physically. But in terms of arsenal, they are not just on his level, but far beyond them, which I think could give them a win. As for the personas we're using, our Arsene would obviously be used, and yes, he has pyrokinetic and chain powerful abilities, but Joker has a number of other different personas to choose from. Over 60 even. Or no, not 60, 20. Some of these are more projectile based, and some of these can even move fast and become lasers themselves. So Joker has a number of different options to choose from in terms of how and what he could use to make his personas function properly. And I think the main reason he could win this fight is because he fights with his personas, and the personas only enhance his attacks, while Giorno physically relies on Gold Requiem Experience. Not to mention, I forgot we could use Sataniel, who is literally a god-level persona, and could technically one-shot someone on the same level of Gold Requiem Experience at the same time that Sataniel could do that. It's just, it doesn't make much questions beyond that it's closer and makes more sense that Joker should win the fight than Giorno. And I know, scaling is rough, but persona scaling also tells that each character can move at least as fast as light, especially Joker, who is physically and much more persona-wise powerful than any other of the Phantom Thieves. Even Morgana, who's the most experienced with personas. So, yeah, we could give a number of options to Giorno and how he could physically use abilities, but I just genuinely think that the majority of the time Joker would take the win than Giorno. It's pretty rough, but hey, at least I enjoyed doing it. So, let's move on to the number 1. Oh, but first, how about some more honorable mentions before we hit on to our number 1? Starting off, we have another JoJo's character, and that's Simon versus Jonathan Joestar. It's cool, and I hope it happens. That's really all I have to say about it. Freddy versus Lucky. More horror characters is what everybody needs, so sign me up. And there's more other characters we can choose from, like Sans versus the Judge. I hope it happens, but I wouldn't bet on it, really. Incineroar versus King is pretty cool, too. especially since it's cool cat boxer fight kind of, which literally in its tense. The Prince versus Ezio is very cool, and I hope it does happen beyond surface level with DBX. And Jetstream Sam versus Adam Torres has always deserved a shot, as I genuinely think that Jetstream Sam should promptly win that fight. Pegasus Seiya versus Sailor Moon. That's cool, and they have a number of special abilities that they could choose from, so it's really nice. But with this out of the way, let's take a look at my number one pick. I said that it's going to be a repeat from last 2 years, but hey, it's worth it. My favorite death battle, my number one pick, is none other than a Metroid character. But which Metroid character? Well, if you saw my last two, you know who it is. You know which character it is. You know why I love this fight. You know I love Space Dragons. And you know that if you've been sticking to this channel long enough, that it's Ridley. And you know who Ridley should fight. This is my favorite death battle ever. Ridley versus Rayquaza. I love this fight, and I want it to happen. I think it's great. I think it's cool. It has a number of special aesthetics, and let's just hop straight into the scaling. Ridley likely can move between planets with ease and much fat in mere seconds, and while Rayquaza can keep up with Deoxys, who can move at escape velocity, he's not at the same level of Ridley. He does have a fair share and better arsenal to choose from, as it is more based on planetary levels of versatility that he could choose from with that. So, what about Rayquaza's Mega Evolution? Rayquaza, being one of the only Pokemon who can properly Mega Evolve, scales to Ridley's Omega Ridley. And Omega Ridley versus Mega Rayquaza is not much of a debate. As they do both counter each other, it's basically just enhancing their already great physical stats. So, what to give Ridley? Well, he also has his manga version, which allows him to move much faster than the speed of light, dodge lasers, and even tear down planet, putting him at planetary levels of power, which, to be fair, is far beyond Rayquaza's technical abilities. Even if we gave him Mega Rayquaza, that does still put Ridley at a much higher advantage in both his base form and his Omega Ridley form, which gives him the edge in durability and strength and promptly speed. Rayquaza likely has much more fighting experience as well as versatility, but Ridley's better space captain leading and, smaller size with more powerful claws and teeth and being much more vicious gives him the clear edge. I know it's weird to say this, but Ridley likely outclasses most of Rayquaza's powerful abilities. So, with that and more, Ridley does edge out in all forms of speed, strength, durability, and experience, giving him the more powerful win. Oh boy, that was a lot. Say, man, I'm thirsty. But hey, if you enjoyed this, always be sure to like and subscribe. If you like this video, be sure to show it to your friends, and hey, if you like it, give it a like. Feel free to comment down below, follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you all in the next one.